media project.
Sooner or later someone's bound to say, fuck you, Wayne.
Hey, that's me.
Yeah.
Fuck You, Wayne is live before a tape studio audience member.
Wayne, I need you to do something for me.
Your daughter?
No, you jerk. I need you to take my car to the car wash and fill it with gas.
You can count on me, Mr. Taskmaster.
And you better not screw this up like the last time I had you run an errand.
But sir, that homeless guy really did look like the CEO of the company.
I cannot stress this enough. There had better not be one scratch on that car. Not one scratch. You hear me?
Loud and clear, sir.
Not one scratch.
1 hour later.
Wayne!
Yes, Mr. Taskmaster?
I tried to start my damn car, and the damn engine seized up on me, damn it!
I don't understand, sir. I put that special gas into the car.
Special gas?
Yes, the one with the green handle.
Green handle? Wayne, that's diesel!
Diesel?
Yes, diesel, you dope! This is a vintage 2016 Camaro, and it doesn't take diesel fuel! You destroyed the damn engine!
Oh,
What do you have to say for yourself?
well, look on the bright side.
And that is?
I didn't get a scratch on the car.
Fuck you, Wayne!
Sooner or later someone's bound to say, fuck you, Wayne.
Hey, that's me.
Yeah.
Excuse me, do you mind if I join you? Are you sure you don't mind? You're absolutely sure I'm disturbing you?
I'll never forget you.
No one ever does.
Hello and welcome to the Mental Suppository. I'm Bret Herholtz,
I'm Wayne Nevis.
I'm Jamie Billings.
and we have a great discussion planned for today.
That is correct. Today we are going to discuss kick-ass women in entertainment.
And we're going to get right into it right after a word from our sponsor.
Ah, fuck!
Out now! A brand new doll we're sure your kids are gonna whine about until you finally crack under the pressure and buy it! Come on! You know it! We know it! Your Chevy Silverado with that "Don't Tread on Me" bumper sticker and pair of chrome testicles hanging off the back of it isn't fooling anyone, you big puss! Introducing Flowbee! The electronic parrot mugwai smurf fucking Ewok looking doll with crazy hair! And guess what? Flowbee speaks its own unique language! I mean, what is this damn thing supposed to be? We don't know! Our designers go through more grass than a lawnmower. And if you put two Flowbees together, you can watch them communicate with one another!
Hey kids, having fun playing with... Oh God, who invited Bruce Valanche and Jack Black over? I'm opening a window!
Buy it today and your kids will never want another toy from you. Ever! Flowbee! By Unideal Toys.
Before we get into this, I just want to mention, if you think this is going to be like a Man Show or Howard Stern or Mantown type of episode, talk about women, you're listening to the wrong
program.
Yep, you're listening to the wrong podcast. These are women we admire in entertainment, film, television, movies, music, just people we've thought about that have just
And feel that they don't get enough coverage. People
yeah,
don't
get enough
talk about
or get
this
enough credit, especially don't get enough credit. And so I figured I'd start off the discussion. One of the people that I admire, and I tasked each of us to think of like 4 or 5.
I got
women.
a bunch.
Yeah. So I was going to get the conversation started. One I admire greatly is a silent movie actress by the name of Mabel Normand, who was like the first triple threat. And a lot of people at the time considered her to be the female Charlie Chaplin, although there were a lot of people that would say Charlie Chaplin was the male Mabel Normand.
Well, what do you mean triple threat?
What'd
she do?
She was a comedian. She was an actress. She was a writer, a director, a producer.
Quadruple?
Yep. And she owned her own.
Quintuple?
She owned her own movie studio, Mabel Norman Productions, which I believe the actual building is still standing.
Around what year
Basically,
was this?
she made sure all side people were no longer necessary.
What year?
This would have been like early silent movies, like 1919 to like the 1920s.
1900s to the 20s? Okay.
I would say that. And she had originally been working for Max Sennett. That's how she kind of got her big break. And Max Sennett was considered the king of comedy. And the two of them actually had kind of an on again, off again relationship. And Max treated her awful. He was just, it was one of those things. He cheated on her. He was just, typical. It was just typical. Yeah, absolutely.
A dick.
And so I think one of the things he did to try to get her back is he bought her own production company. And so she just took the money and ran, and she started producing her own films.
Good.
And it's a sad thing because she's not as remembered nowadays. A lot of it was to do is she ended up getting caught up in a lot of controversies at the time, and she was
Like what?
She was part of 2 like high-profile murder cases. Both of them she was not guilty of, but still it's like guilty by association.
She was just there.
Exactly.
goddamn.
And she was also kind of a party girl at the time, where she was one of
They all were. I mean, if you think about it, if you look at the biographies of the people back in the day.
Oh, yeah,
you
absolutely.
You can't imagine, like, you think of partying, you think of like techno music and coke and lots of alcohol, but
Back then it was big
kind
band.
But she was
big band,
she
but it was
was-
still technically the same thing.
She was the original independent woman, where she did a lot of her own stuff, and she was very popular at the time. But the other thing I think that didn't help is she passed away at the age of 39, right before silent movies ended and the talkies started.
Yeah.
So it's like a lot of her stuff isn't as remembered as today, and it's really kind of sad. There's been a lot of really great biographies about her.
Do you think
and
she would have transcended well into the talkies?
I'm honestly not sure, because there were a few actresses that did, and even now there are a few that they're just not as remembered nowadays, and they really should. And in some cases, like there was an actress, Theda Bara, whose movies don't exist anymore because they ended up being destroyed in a
Fire.
Fire. Nitrate, because of the nitrates they were stored on. It was one of the Fox fires, I think, in the 1930s. So it's like very few of her movies existed, and it's just one of those things.
That's a shame. Yeah.
Yeah, one of those. We need to transfer this to a different media project. Yeah, we'll get to that eventually.
And these are women that people should know more about, especially Mabel Normand, who's, I think, on par with Charlie Chaplin, maybe even better. And it always kind of pissed me off the way she was portrayed in the Robert Downey Jr. movie. Not his fault; he didn't write it, but it was Richard Attenborough who wrote it. But they kind of portrayed her as kind of a haughty, talentless bitch, and it was a really unfair portrayal. Although she was played very well by Marissa Tomei, the portrayal of it just really always rankled me, because she was nothing like the character they portrayed in the movies. Actually, her and Chaplin were actually very good friends, and there was a point Chaplin really was kind of in love with her, and he just told her, "I love you," and she goes, "It won't work, Charlie," and because both of them were
because both were the same age.
Well, no, ouch, but. They were both very driven people and both into their craft. So, and with Chaplin, he was always
if they got
doing
involved
movies
with each other, then
one would have to give
sacrifice.
up something. Yes,
He saw that
a bigger sacrifice.
Exactly.
And I think that's exactly what ended up happening with her, with Max Sennett, because you have somebody who's your boss, who you kind of get romantic with, and end up.
Well, I think, and I'm not trying to defend Max, and I don't defend any man who thinks like that. But yes, there's that sense of like the alpha and the beta,
especially at that time.
Right. I think, I don't know, I think kind of now it's even, I think now it's more prevalent because it's a lot more noticeable now.
Yeah.
But the thing that gets me is, like, in those instances, there's nothing wrong with give and take. There's nothing wrong with one side compromising for the other. But if the other side is not willing to do that, if in this case Max was expecting her to just completely give up everything
Actually,
she wanted,
Max,
excuse me, Mac, I heard Max. If Mac was forcing her to give up things, no, I'm sorry, fuck that dude.
Absolutely.
He's an asshole.
Yeah. And
Any man who thinks like that is a fucking asshole.
And it's like I said, she died young. Of course, tuberculosis was
Too young.
Yeah,
then.
Too
was
young.
How a lot of people die. There's a lot of people who died of tuberculosis at the
So
time.
you say she worked with Chap. Did she do stunts as well?
I believe she did a lot of her own stunts. She was one of the original Bathing Beauties as well, which was kind of a Max Sennett thing, along with the Keystone Cops, where they'd have these like very pretty women in bathing suits, diving into the water and stuff like that. So she started off
Wearing
with
the
that.
cap.
Yes.
Yes.
But then, she was one of these things. She was very funny on screen, and a lot of her, unlike a lot of her contemporaries, a lot of her films still exist. So people can, you can go on YouTube and people can see, just how brilliant she really is as a comedian, and she had this really great look about her that was just perfect for that era, and it's kind of hard, to encapsulate just everything about it, but it's one of those things, there are people there are groups and people that, appreciate her films, and there are actually Facebook groups for her, and I was actually in contact with somebody who used to run one of the Mabel Norman fan pages until she sadly passed away, this Marilyn Slater, who is like kind of the head of the Mabel Norman fan club nowadays. So.
Well, what about you? Wayno. Who was the one? Did you think of anybody else? You said you had two?
I had two. The first one I'm thinking about, also back in the day of Silent Era. Sorry, I'm touching everything. Not Silent Era, excuse me. Just after Silent Era. Started to go with the talkies. A young woman, beautiful woman named Olivia de Havilland.
Oh, yes.
She worked with Errol Flynn.
Yep, Robin Hood.
Robin Hood, The Adventures of Robin Hood. The first movie I ever saw them in
she was Maid Marian?
She was Maid Marian, yes. First movie I actually ever saw the two of them in, and the reason I'm coming to this is because I'm very much, for my movies of romance, the scenes where two people are together and the look, the chemistry that they have. Olivia de Havilland and Errol Flynn, and I'm not even going to get into Errol Flynn. Errol Flynn was my hero until I learned what kind of a scummy person this man really was.
Yeah.
But with that said, Olivia de Havilland, Errol Flynn, the scene to them together, just staring at each other, ready for that kiss. It is like the purest form of romance that just chokes me up when I see it.
Honestly, there's just the cinematography of the movies back then. They hit the nail on the head with a lot of. It's like they had that kind of those gauzy looking shots that were always perfect when they did the romantic
just put a
scenes.
little bit of Vaseline on the edge of the lens, and that makes everything look all halo and soft. And okay, now action.
Okay, but now here's the thing. That's where I was introduced to her. Olivia Havilland, Errol Flynn. Now, years later, this woman's an activist, all right? This woman is hardcore. She's 104 years old, and she's like, I'm still working here, guys.
Yeah.
Fuck all y'all.
Good for her.
But she was elegant. She was refined. You didn't see her like people of today going on the news, sticking out their finger to people and calling everyone, all these names as they're trying to smirch other people's names. She was basically like, oh, did she say that about me? Okay, thank you for telling me. And she would not like be baited with that crap.
Nice.
And that's what I loved about her. Was
like most people
she
today would
was
be sucked
strong.
into it so that they can get themselves some numbers.
Exactly.
She had a dignity about her.
Dignity. Thank you. That's the word I was actually looking for that word. Thank you. Dignity. She had a beautiful dignity about her that just made me feel, of the time period of the movies that I enjoy, almost every woman should have emulated.
All right, so we're talking right now actresses that are kick-ass.
Okay, we can go to any other genre if you want.
I have actually two that are in mind because they're within the same category of kick-ass actress / stunt women. These women have performed some of the most crazy and awesome stunts I've ever seen. First, we're going to start with Michelle Yeoh.
Okay, I didn't think you were going to start with her, but okay.
If you haven't seen Everything Everywhere All at Once, go see it because it is a fun movie.
The commercials make it look really fun.
I have it, and you should
Was
watch
she in
it.
Tomorrow Never Dies?
No, she was the one with Jonathan Pierce.
Okay. Jonathan Pryce?
Jonathan Pryce,
Yep.
yes.
That was the newspaper mogul
Tomorrow
one.
Never Dies?
Yep, Tomorrow Never
Tomorrow
Dies.
Never
Tomorrow
Dies.
Never Comes.
No. Tomorrow Never Dies.
Tomorrow is a Sunset? I don't remember. Moonraker? No.
Wow, you need a slap after that one.
So anyway, Michelle Yeoh, my first one. Also, Police. Was it Police Story?
Chow Yun-fat?
No. With Jackie Chan. No,
that-
Super Cop. Sorry.
Super Cop.
Wow.
Okay,
For
yes.
some reason, it just
Super
suddenly
Cop.
clicked in my mind.
Yeah, you went to Chow Yun-fat,
I know.
not Jackie Chan.
She worked with him in Super Cop, and that was probably, I think, the first time that I saw her and was like, oh my God, this is crazy.
That's actually an interesting point because she was also in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and you see her being elegant in that scenes with the way she acted and with the way she portrayed her character. But with the Jackie Chan, she showed her lighter side. She showed her funnier side in that.
She's got
She's still
multiple
playing
sides,
the straight person,
and still,
but she was funny at it.
And as well in Everything Everywhere All at Once, she has multiple different characters that she's playing.
That she's
so
being
you
able
get
to portray.
see, and the acting, and that's really good. So the second woman that I thought of is a New Zealand stunt woman who worked on Xena Warrior Princess.
Oh?
Her name is Zoe Bell.
Zoe Bell, okay.
Yeah,
I was
you
gonna
know her?
slap you if you weren't going to say her.
Zoe Bell is amazing. Oh my God! First time I saw her was when she was doing the stunts for Kill Bill. She was Uma Thurman's stunt woman because she actually kind of does look a little bit like Uma Thurman.
She's got the
blonde hair.
She's got the height for it. Yeah.
I always think that's amazing when they find stunt people that look almost exactly
like the person,
the actor.
yeah. But if you haven't seen
I mean, the
her,
stuntman for Jackie Chan is amazing. He looks just like him.
but if you haven't seen the stunts that she did in Death Proof, where she's on the hood of a car that's going like nearly 50 miles an hour, you would crap your pants, man. Just watching what she's doing, and of course, they want to try to do everything that they can to make the stunts as safe as possible.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I don't think the stunt person wants to die either.
No, absolutely,
right?
yeah.
But just to be able to watch, like, is she really tied down to the hood on this thing while they're flying down the highway, and she spins around? Oh my God, I just can't believe some of the stunts that she's done. And then on top of that, she has a pretty good acting career.
Yes, I was going to mention that.
Comedies, other action movies that she's been in, but have you seen her in Whip It?
The roller derby
the
movie.
roller derby
Yes.
comedy movie.
Yes.
It's a comedy. It
It's
was slightly
coming of age,
I thought
whatever.
it was a comedy. But yeah, she was great in that. She's pretty much been in almost every Tarantino movie so far. She's been in whether it be stunts or acting. Inglourious Bastards, Hateful Eight. So yeah, Django Unchained. She was also in that. She's one of the trackers in that.
Yes, she is. Yes. Interestingly enough, those are the movies where she's actually being allowed to act in said movies, not just coming in to do the stunt part of it. She's actually, yes, you're doing the stunt part of it, but you're doing all the lead up to it.
For a director to have someone to come in that does have the acting chops that she has, to then also say, well, we can throw her in a car and have it blow up, and she'll be like, cool, what, are you going to do it now?
And there's been a lot of stunt people that have made a great transition from stunt person to actor.
Yep,
sure.
It is a pretty good transition. Not for everyone, though.
No,
absolutely not.
So yeah, who else you got?
No, we'll go in a circle.
Well, I'm going to actually go
do a
back
nice little
to
circle jerk here.
Are we still going to be within the movies realm?
Well, I mean, we already did movies.
Yeah.
You want to now do another?
I've got another. Yeah.
What do you got?
Well, I'm going to go back to the golden age of movies, and another actress I really admire because she's just kicked so much ass was Mae West.
Yep.
Mae West.
And I just recently watched an American Masters documentary on her, and it was an amazing documentary because she took shit from nobody, and she had a wit to her that could rival Groucho Marx, and it's like one of those things because when she started doing movies, she was in her early 40s. It was one of those things she had done.
Really?
She was not one of the beginning, or no, not that she was not the beginning, but she was not.
She wasn't
spring
technically
chicken.
found. She
absolutely.
She didn't become really famous until her early 40s.
But
okay.
She hit it right at the time of talkies because she was made for that medium. She was made for the talkie era, and it's one of those things because they discovered, she's been working in vaudeville like a lot of the performers like the Marx Brothers and the Stooges that all worked the vaudeville circuit. And so when she started in films, they were trying to negotiate with her, and she asked the people she was negotiating with, how much does the top studio exec make? And they gave her the number. She says, I want what he makes, only $1 more. And they gave it to her.
Yeah.
But Also, an interesting point for Mae West and women like Mae West is that this is a prime example between the difference of confidence and arrogance. Because in her sense, she exuded confidence.
Absolutely.
And you couldn't break that. And because you couldn't break that, proof that it wasn't arrogance.
And the other great thing about her film is she was never the victim. She always came out on top, and she always had these great lines. I was actually, one of the clips they had in the documentary is she's having her palm read by a fortune teller, and the fortune teller says, I see a man coming into your life, and she looks at the palm and says, just one? And even later in life, she just didn't care what people thought. Her last film, Sextet, she made like in her 80s, and she's playing a 20-year-old in it. And it's like, there she is, she doesn't look like she's no longer a spring chicken, but who gives a shit? It's Mae West.
Yeah. And it's also like she was one of the beginning people. Like later, you could say like Charlie Chaplin and Douglas Fairbanks Jr. got away from the yoke of the Mayers and Goldsteins who controlled the studios making their own studio. Mae West was one of those kind of people. It's like, I'm not going to wait for that. I'm just going to do it myself. I'm not going to join anybody else. If I want to make a movie, here's some money. I'm making a movie.
And a lot of in the documentary they described her, she wasn't considered classically attractive, but it was all in the way she presented herself. I mean, she was only 5 feet tall, but the fact is she wore these massive lifts on her high heel shoes that made her look taller.
Sometimes
that was a pretty common gimmick that they would do back
absolutely.
in the day.
Sometimes you don't need to be very tall in order to have the amount of confidence that some people can exude.
But she also wore long dresses, so people didn't really know about. Yeah, exactly. Yep. So if you saw her the way her shoes looked, they just look crazy.
And you actually can see that in some of her movies where she actually tries to do as little movements between scenes as possible. Like there'll be scenes where she's sitting down, or she's lounging on one of those half sofas that they had back in the day. But if you see her actually walking in a scene, she doesn't try to do that much of it if she can help it.
And like I said, just an amazing wit, and just the way she would deliver lines. I mean, her first movie, she wasn't even the star of it. But it was apparently according to all the critics, it was a dull film until she came on the scene and she just stole the show. And I think somebody on the film said she stole everything but the reels and the camera or something, something like that. It was just like it was like, and again, if you see the film, it's just like it's just like kind of a meh film, and then she comes on and it just it's an entirely different film, and you knew that's who the star of the film is. Sorry, George Raft, you're not the star. It's Mae West. I don't actually even remember if George Raft was in the film, but you get the idea.
It's actually a good shot.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's not, it was still a good shot.
Thank you.
I appreciate that you threw out George Raft.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wayne.
I'm trying to think of another person.
Are we still within movies here?
We could bounce around, honestly.
What about Catherine Bigelow, director of big action flicks?
Name one, because again, I'm not good with names.
Name one. Jamie Lee Curtis in Blue Steel. Or
yes, I remember Blue Steel now.
Or Keanu Reeves in Point Break. Or fucking Hurt Locker. Zero Dark 30.
I didn't see Zero Dark 30.
You saw Hurt Locker?
I did see Hurt Locker, though, yes.
She's a fucking awesome action director. Point Break? Point Break! I'm done!
Please don't bang the table.
Anyway, what do you got? You said you were thinking?
I've been thinking.
That's where that smell is.
Yeah, no, seriously. Go, before the alarms go off. No, I'm. If we're sticking with movies, or am I allowed to go to a different genre?
Anything, man. What do you got?
We can go to a different genre.
It.
All right. So, for me, if we're now going with, say, music, Janice Joplin.
Oh, yeah. Janice Joplin.
Janice Joplin. Now, for me, one of the reasons I love Janice is because if you listen to her voice, it's horrid.
Like if you listen to it without any of the backing.
Exactly. No backing
just
music.
on its own.
On its own, it is so horrid.
It's rough.
It's rough. If she was brought to the scene during the late 70s, early 80s when punk was being around, her voice would still be horrid.
But would have been perfect.
But no. Here's the thing: the time frame of Janis Joplin was perfect for her because of the bluesy, hard drinking style of music. Like it's coming from your soul, so you're screeching this music out.
Well, so doesn't punk.
That's my point. Whether you're looking at punk or whether you're looking at the time of Janis Joplin in the '60s, she was perfect for. You're not
dummy.
You're not listening to what I'm saying, dude. You were saying if it was just punk, it would have been perfect. It's like, no, both are perfect. Is she just had this sound about her that just like individualized her specifically, that everyone else was like, wow, all these other women are cookie cutter when it comes to music. Then you listen to Janis Joplin, you're like, what the fuck?
Oh, very distinctive.
Very, very distinct, but very brash, very, again, that sense of confidence, that sense of like.
It takes a lot of whiskey to get there.
True.
I think what kind of pisses me off with, the way Janis Joplin is perceived is if, people like Jim Morrison or Keith Richards, they're, partying, and they people seem to think, boys will be boys. It's like it's like Janis Joplin partying. It's like, oh, she's dirty. She's
exactly.
scummy. And it's like screw
it's the
you.
Same thing.
Yeah.
But not only that, it's like you also imagine. Okay, so this person parties all day long. They don't think of anything. They don't write any material. They just like sing this. No, she came up with quite a bit of her own material.
Oh, absolutely.
And she is good at it. And she was also very knowledgeable of in the field of collaboration. Like she was so willing to work with other people. Like Chris Christopherson. Chris Christopherson was a nobody. And she's like, I'm going to play you guys a song. Here, me and Bobby McGee. And all of a sudden, Chris Christopherson skyrockets back into popularity again because he wrote that song like 2 years, I think, before that. Okay. Or a year or so before that.
And lately all I'm seeing are damn vampires.
But, I mean, that if I'm going to music, I want to say Janis Joplin.
Around that same time.
Unfortunately, she is also a prime example of that star burning just a wee bit
absolutely.
too bright
Yeah.
To join the 27 Club. I mean, that was totally honest. She did not need to do that.
And from around that time, you also have the rock band Fanny.
Yes, Fanny.
Kick-ass rock band Fanny. You never heard of?
I'm drawing blank here, man.
Wow. All right.
Enlighten us.
We'll play you some stuff. But basically, you want to consider them to be the godmothers of rock and roll. I had never heard of them, just like you, until a few months back on my YouTube feed comes this. I'm looking, oh, wow, this is like it's from the 60s or something. I click on it, and it is these four, I think a couple of them are Filipino, American, and they formed a garage band, which became one of the most hard rockin' bands, and they're still around, too.
To this day?
Yeah, I think they're still, but there's a documentary coming out of them. It is called.
I believe one of the members was at the last musical collectibles extravaganza for Northeast.
Were they?
I believe so. I believe one of the members was. I'm not 100% sure of it, but I feel like we talked about that.
Oh,
I'm actually going to look them up now.
I think you should. Fanny, The Right to Rock. It's a documentary. Basically, if you can imagine around that time being a rock and roll band, hearing that they're all girls, most promoters would just be like, no,
because they would expect like
that's not going to sell anything.
The doo-wop style singing, the smoothness, the jingles.
They wouldn't want to have anything to do with unruly women in their club,
like the Runaways.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Another. That's the.
Damn you. That was the next one. Go-Go's.
Oh,
that was the next one. Was going to be the Runaways, and then to top the list off was going to be L7.
L7, yes, I remember that band.
Metal band.
They were hard. They were hard rock.
They're still around, aren't they?
I believe so.
Yeah. I was introduced. Unfortunately, I was introduced to them when they made their pop song. That
when we
pretend that we're dead. It's a great song.
It's a great song.
It's a great song, but because of the way it's written, it sounds too popish. And so when you go to listen to their other material, like, oh, that's not what I was expecting.
What do you have for music?
Well,
Who do you think?
I was so obsessed with this artist by the name of Bjrk for the longest time when I was younger.
I knew you were going to say that.
And
yes.
I'll tell you why. Because I love people who are original. I love people who are quirky, who do their own thing, and not afraid to try something new. And she would do that with a lot of her albums. And it always kind of pissed me off the way people would mock her or make fun of her for her outlook, like her wearing the swan dress. And I just remember watching one of the Saturday Night Lives where they're doing like one of the Celebrity Jeopardies, and they have somebody, doing their impersonation of Bjork, and Will Ferrell's character making some comment about making a very offensive comment about her being mentally challenged, using a word we can't use anymore. And,
Okay.
And it just really pissed me off, because it's like, it's like, okay, so, Madonna doing her thing, somehow that's innovative, but, Bjork doing something original and doing something different from what everybody else is doing. And not only that, making some really damn good music. I mean, Homogenic is still one of my favorite albums, and I think it was one of the best albums she did, because it was just such, and for the time period, it's like, you were going out from, the grunge era, going into something new, and she shows up and doing music that wasn't really. It was different from what everybody else was doing at the time.
It's not really for everyone's ear.
It's not for everybody's ear, but
But it's appreciated for the ones who when they enjoy it. It's like, oh wait, I like this music. I appreciate what you're doing. Others like, it's not for me. Then don't listen. Just go away.
Exactly.
Just go away.
And I know I've had people that have made fun of her or in front of me, or said, well, I don't really see what you see is so great about it. It's like, well, I didn't ask, but thanks. And that was the thing. I remember the first time I heard her music, and it was her song Army of Me. I actually was sitting in a cafe down in Savannah, Georgia, and they happened to be playing one of her videos. Actually, it wasn't Army of Me. Sorry, it was she did the song I Miss You, which was it was, they were playing the music video for it, and I just saw her on it was like MTV, and I saw her, and she's wearing like this crazy big hat, and she just looks so artsy and so out there, and I was like, I really like this. This is for me.
Yeah, but I mean, I've seen the same thing that you're talking about. Like, for instance, Prince, when he went to the symbol phase and he started wearing a hat where all these jewels were covering his face, or Lady Gaga when she was walking in an outfit made out of meat, on 9-inch heels that she fell over multiple times.
Actually, she's another.
What's the difference between her and these other people that wear the weirdest of stuff? It's
honestly, she's another one. I have to admit, I really admire Lady Gaga.
She hasn't from her pop stuff. Her voice is amazing.
Oh, yes, very nice.
I mean, when I heard her starting to do the stuff with Tony Bennett, I was like, this is who she is.
That was exactly where I was going to say.
This is what she wants to do.
The duos that she did with Bennett were beautiful.
I think we're seeing. It's like I felt like I was seeing the real person at that time, and she was doing with Lady Gaga, she was doing kind of a Ziggy Stardust thing where she was performing as a character, and I can't fault her for that.
No,
but I think the jazz music she's been doing of late, I think, has been some of her best stuff.
But like you're saying, she's creating a character. Bjork is doing the exact same thing. Yeah. It's like, you're giving grief for her, but you're not for this one? That don't make sense.
Well, it's like Madonna with the pointy, going back to,
pointy boobs.
Yeah, the pointy broad.
You remember that from the 90s?
Yeah, she is so...
Bodice? I forget what they call that thing. Brassiere?
It's like, she is so innovative.
Bustier.
Bustier. Thank you. That's the word I was looking
Bjork, she's wearing a swan dress. What's wrong with her?
Yeah, that makes I don't see the...
Yeah.
Right. You're like,
the comparison is the same.
She's mentally challenged, while this one is not. But yet,
and I don't even think Madonna writes her own music, whereas Bjork writes her own music. And, she's done some great songs. So screw you all. And I've actually...
How do you really feel, Bret?
But it's funny because I've had friends mention to me that they've been made fun of because they like female vocalists. It's like, why? Why is somebody making fun of you because you like a female vocalist? Or even people who say, well, women can't play drums or play guitar as well as men.
Oh my God, no.
It's like, okay.
Oh my God.
And I'm just like, okay, hold on. Let me show you this.
Male Cohen.
I was just like, let me show you this video on
Male
Facebook
Cohen.
of this.
Go on YouTube. Her name's Mabel Cohen.
Oh, I heard male.
This fucking chick can double bass. Oh my God, just go look it up. She's amazing.
I think there's been a couple I've seen on Facebook of these young women who are just, they're just playing drums or playing guitar to these songs. It's like, yeah,
the timing is perfect.
Yeah, it's like, oh really? Women can't play guitar or drums as well as men?
No, go on YouTube and even just type in female metal drummer. Check that shit out. Done.
Well, it's funny because it actually
didn't mean to drop the mic again.
Oh, don't worry about it. It's
But gosh,
Please don't drop the mic. Don't make noise on the table.
actually,
All right, well then how about we switch this up then? How about instead of getting on the music thing, how about we talk about female from sitcoms in the 80s? We all grew up with leading like Roseanne.
well, we
never-
don't really want to talk
I
about
never
Never
Roseanne.
watched. I actually never
What
watched
about
an episode.
What about Nell Carter?
Yes,
I grew up with Nell Carter and Give Me a Break.
Break.
Yeah, dude. Or Marla Gibbs. Remember Marla Gibbs? From the Jeffersons? and 227?
Oh,
I never
gosh.
watched
You never
227,
saw
but yes, I saw the
227?
Jeffersons.
Oh, Regina King. Jackie!
Yes.
Well, actually, maybe we should go into another foray. Voice acting, and one I admired was June Foray,
June Foray.
who, again, people
Or
have said is the
Alex
female.
Borstein.
I was just going to say Alex Borstein is a great mimic.
But with June, starting out with June Foray, a lot of people said, she was the female Mel Blanc, although Chuck Jones said Mel Blanc was the male June Foray. And she got started at a time where, a lot of, voice actresses didn't get a lot. Actually, actors and actresses in general didn't get a lot of credit. But she was one of the first ones alongside Mel Blanc who got, recognition for her voice in some of the Looney Tune cartoons, and she did so many characters and so many voices over her career. And I mean, a lot of the voices she actually didn't start doing, but she actually.
And everyone knows her voice, though.
Exactly.
If you go back and watch any of the old cartoons, Bugs Bunny and stuff.
Yeah, Witch Hazel.
Who was she? She was always the witch.
Yeah. She just had that great, voice that, was so flexible and could just do so many different characters. I mean, it's like all the, stuff she did on the Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle,
Yep.
doing Rocky the Flying Squirrel or Nell, Dudley Do-Right's girlfriend, although she was in love with Dudley's horse.
Penny Trueheart?
I think, no.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't remember that cartoon saved my life.
But it's just so, it's like even into into her 90s, she was still doing
voices. Yep.
And she just kicked and she just she trailblazed for so many women, so many women out there. We talked about like the Alex Borsteins, the Tara Strongs,
Nancy Cartwright.
Nancy Cartwright, yeah. Yardley Smith.
Yep.
Yeardley Smith.
The
Yep.
thing I like about Yardley Smith is she's not trying to make different voices. She's doing her natural
Yeah.
voice, but sticks
It
with
carries over so well.
Yes, exactly.
But I mean, but I'm thinking along the lines as well as the people that do various voices, the ones that go from do multiple voices over multiple cartoons.
I apologize if I butcher her last name. Tress McNally.
Yes,
Did I say it right?
I think she's.
I can't remember her
I think
name.
if there's anybody who comes close to like being a modern June Foray is Tress McNell.
I did say it wrong.
Animaniacs, The Simpsons.
Yep.
So many cartoons, and it's like she has that June Foray quality to her where she can play very sweet, but she can also play very gruff, doing Seymour Skinner's mother, that sort of very June Foray sort of voice.
Pretty much, yeah. What needed to pave the way, yeah.
Gray Delisle, she's another one who's a current voice actress. She took over the voice of Daphne Blake for Scooby Doo.
Oh, okay.
And she's also a musician. She's also a singer and musician. She's done some folk albums, and she's got an amazing voice. Sydney and I got to meet her at one of the Boston Comic Cons, and just a very nice person. Just seems very genuine. But she's another one just has done kind of like a June Foray, or a Tress McNell, who's just
Where
been
their
in the
IMD
business.
page just keeps going. You can keep scrolling.
But that's a working actor for you. Somebody who's just keeps on working, keeps on doing parts.
A career actor.
Exactly,
Yeah.
but-
They saw this as like, I am retiring from this and nothing else.
Oh, yeah. Give me those residuals.
I have a few more to mention, but one of them actually is somebody I don't think who ever got the credit she ever deserved, and that was Margaret Dumont, who played a lot of. Margaret Dumont played the Dowerage in a lot of the Marx Brothers films, and she's considered.
Oh, yeah.
As far as people have the role of straight man, I think she was probably the best straight man there ever was. And people have, as Groucho Marx sort of created a false narrative where he gave the idea that she never understood any of the jokes. I don't think that was entirely true. I think she was just playing the part of the straight person really well.
Was she the one that said, Hold me closer, closer.
No, that's somebody different. She's the one. She said, she would say, I'm going to have you sit on my right hand, and you shall sit on my left hand. And Groucho goes, "How are you going to eat, through a tube?" But she would always be like the brunt of Groucho's jokes. But the way she took it, it made it look like she wasn't understanding the humor. But she was just playing up the character really well. That these
so well that the critics didn't know.
Just sort of the unflappable character who either couldn't stand Groucho's character or was
Flippantness,
or was for whatever reason madly in love with this character, which I always thought worked the best. Was
even funnier.
Yeah, it was even funnier that this wealthy woman thinks whatever character Groucho is playing, either Firefly or Dr. Hackenbush or Captain Spaulding, is like the most wonderful person in the world.
Interesting. All of these people were mentioned in House of a Thousand Corpses.
Gee, I wonder why.
Where did he get that idea from?
I wonder if somebody is a Marx Brothers fan. I don't know.
I don't know.
And there was one more I wanted to mention.
Yes.
She was somebody, I think she might have been the funniest woman alive. It was Madeline Kahn.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Yep.
Young Frank. A
Frankenstein.
lot of the Mel Brooks films, and it just even
Blazing Saddles.
My favorite, I think, of hers was History of the World Part 1.
That one was good.
I loved her in that. When she did the singing part and she broke and.
She was looking at the different men.
Yes.
No.
Yes. She had perfect comic timing.
She did. She was just. I think she might have been my first crush, but yeah. But it's like, again, personality.
Let's see. Mine was Donna Dixon. Bosom buddies.
I could see that. But, just getting back to her, there was actually one of the funniest a couple of the movies I really loved her in was one was High Anxiety.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
the funniest part of her character is she's and I think the way she just played it straight, it was always kind of perfect, where she wears this character with this like weird pattern pantsuit, and it's like everything in the movie, like her teddy bear, her room, all has that
Everything revolves around the pantsuit.
yeah,
Yes.
that same pattern. And it's just like the one scene where it's like Mel Brooks's character is being strangled in the phone booth, and she's listening, and she thinks it's a dirty conversation on the phone, and she's like,
first she's like all offended, and then she's like, "What else are you doing, huh? How's that
what are
going?
you wear- what are you wearing?"
While he's being,
"What are you wearing?" And he's like, jeans. You wearing jeans? I bet they're tight. And then the guy, I think Mel Brooks ends up killing the guy who's
trying to strangle him.
And he's going, "Oh, you're an animal." Just I can't replicate that, but just her response, it was just so.
She
wonderful.
was definitely one of a kind.
And another one
yeah.
was it was an underappreciated film, and it's one of those ones you love it or you hate the film, but it was called The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes' Smarter Brother, which was a film not by Mel Brooks, but actually Gene Wilder produced the film, and
he's in it, isn't he?
yeah, he is. He plays
Along with Marty Feldman.
Yes, Marty Feldman plays the Dr. Watson character, and Madeline.
And Basil Rathbone. Oh, sorry, wrong movie.
Actually, it's funny because they actually had a guy who played Sherlock Holmes, this Douglas Wilmer, who plays Holmes in the movie.
Really?
Oh, wait. Is that the one where Marty had to keep banging his head against something in order to replay what he had
Yes.
seen? Yes.
Oh,
Okay,
Jesus.
now I remember that. Yeah. Every time he'd ask him to, do you know what he just said? He'd have to whack his head, and then he could literally like a recorder just repeat everything that just happened.
It's not only was she funny, but she had a wonderful singing voice too. I mean, they had a couple musical numbers in the movie where she's singing, and her voice just is so pretty singing, and even when she's playing, she's singing for laughs. It's just
Blazing Saddles, when she had that German accent in her singing.
And also, I think adjacent to that, with someone who else also had some pretty good comic timing, was Bernadette Peters.
Yes.
Yes, that's true.
Who, going back to Mabel Normand, she actually starred in a Broadway musical called Mac and Mabel, which was a fictional.
Look at Bret tying
story
this whole
about-
shit together.
Story about the love. It was a fictional, kind of a fictionalized love story between Max Sennett and Mabel Normand, and she played Mabel Normand in the original play. And again, I have the soundtrack, and what an amazing voice she has.
Yep, she was, and she still does. I think I recently saw, because I have a daughter now. She was in a Cinderella remake.
As one of
that's
the voices?
right.
Yeah,
Or live action?
No, she was it was live action.
Okay.
It was
I
for
remember that.
It was for TV. It was made for
Okay.
TV a while back.
Was it one of
early
those live,
2000s
was
or
it
something?
one of the live event ones, or was it different?
No, it was all filmed. It was
Okay.
Yeah, but it was Brandy was in it. That's who it was.
Oh, okay.
And Bernadette Peters played the evil stepmother.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And,
All right, I think I remember
and
the
again-
movie now.
She was also a voice
fantastic.
on. She was also a voice on Animaniacs.
Really?
Yep, she did the voice of Rita in the Rita and the Runt.
Oh, jeez.
I
didn't know that.
Well, I didn't figure it out till later as well, but it's like also they had the character sing, so it's like kind of makes sense.
And
know,
once you
it's
hear,
like-
once you hear her sing, she's got it. She's got a great
Oh, yeah.
voice.
But yeah, definitely look up the music for Mac and Mabel. It has some. It's one of those forgotten musicals from the 1970s, and it has that very, it was like around that era where they were trying to do musicals. Like they had one based on the Marx Brothers called Minnie's Boy, and where the music is actually remembered more than the musical itself.
Minnie's Boy.
You'll have it's another one you'll have to.
Minnie's.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Named after
Minnie's.
Minnie was the name of the Marx Brothers' mother, who was kind of
Yeah.
like the typical stage mother.
Oh dear.
Actually, I mentioned
I'm
somebody
burnt
earlier.
out.
I mentioned somebody earlier. The Go-Go's.
Oh my God, that's another name.
What a they started out as a punk band, but they ended up turning into a
Pop.
group. But they did some great songs, and I mean they were an all female pop rock band.
I mean, you say what you want to say about the music that they made. I mean,
I like the music they made.
They could damn well perform.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Belinda Carlisle.
I always loved
Yes,
Jane.
Belinda Carlisle,
I always
yeah.
loved Jane Wyden, and apparently she had a secret where she was actually a dominatrix.
Oh dear.
I guess she revealed that on a reality show. But yeah, the Go-Go's rocked hard back in the day.
Mm-hmm. It's like the Runaways.
Like the Runaways. Yep,
absolutely.
the Runaways. Yep.
I think they were around the same time, but it's like they
Just
made
like
that
Fanny.
sort of. Yep.
Kick ass.
Look, the people we mentioned today. Look up their work. Just
Go
get
to YouTube.
Yep.
Look it up.
Get to know them. They're all so incredibly talented, so incredibly wonderful, and none of them should ever be forgotten.
Never. Absolutely.
On behalf of Jamie and Wayne, thank you for listening to the Mental Suppository. Until next time, this is Bret Herholtz saying.
I can wash out 44 pairs of socks and have them hanging out on the line. I can starch and iron 2 dozen shirts before you can count them all.
Well, I can scoop up a great big dipper full of lard from the drippings can. Throw it in the skillet, go out and do my shopping, and be back before it melts in the pan. 'Cause I'm a woman. W-O-M-A-N. Like to say it again.
I can rub and scrub this house till it's shining just like a dime.
Feed the baby, grease the car, and powder my face all at the same time.
I can get all dressed up, go out and swing till 4 a.m. and then lay down at 5, jump up at 6 and start all over again. 'Cause I'm a woman. W-O-M-A-N. Like to say it again.
Yes, they would.
If you come to me sickly, you know that I'm gonna make you well.
If you come to me hexed up, you know I'm gonna break the spell.
If you come to me hungry, you know I'm gonna fill you all full of grits. If it's loving you're lacking, I'll kiss you and give you the shivers. 'Cause I'm a woman. W-O-M-A-N. I can say it again. I can stretch a greenback dollar bill from here to kingdom come.
I can play the numbers, pay the bills, and still end up with some.
I got a $20 gold piece, says there ain't nothing I can't do. I can make a dress out of a food sack.
You got what?
I said I can make a dress out of a food sack.
What do you do with a food sack dress?
Well, honey, I can make anything look good. 'Cause I'm a woman.
W-O-M-A-N. I'd like to say it again.
'Cause I'm a woman.
The Mental Suppository has been produced by Bret Herholtz and Jamie Billings and distributed by M the Media Project. Theme music generously donated by Mr. B, the Gentleman Rhymer. Visit his webpage at gentlemanrhymer.com. We would love to hear from our fans. Email us at mentalsuppository@gmail.com.
Dynamite doesn't frighten me. I've been in a lot of explosions. I was wondering why you look so frightfully scarred.
Come on, dear, let's get out of here.
No.
Come on, Sonny, please now.
I suppose you know you broke up my home. I didn't know that you were in a home. When did you get out?